Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the February 2nd edition, 2021 of AEW Dark. Yet again, this show is disjointed. Yet again, this show is positive, but not by far completely. The Dark show continues to be a mixed bag. There is good wrestling, there is too much wrestling, and ultimately it negatively impacts the enjoyment of the program and speaks to one of the biggest flaws in AEW as a whole, which is the nature of the overhiring done within the company. So we will run through this program here. Obviously, this is the Tuesday YouTube show. Taz, Excalibur, and Anthony Ogogo. That I don't understand why he's given a microphone. He's abysmally bad, and for once, I don't even mean Excalibur, although he's getting worse by the week too. But the Ogogo kid I think it's kind of a charity thing to give him an opportunity at this point. Nick Camarado, QT Marshall, and Dustin Rhodes start off with Terrence and Terrell Hughes and M. Buddha, and they run about 7.25 minutes. Camarado and Terrell start off. Camarado overpowers him, and then does the same to the other son of Devon Dudley. And Buddha tries in, but Triple Team doesn't even stop them. Baby faces dominate throughout, and Rhodes gets beat up and takes the heat for quite a mile. And Buddha got a good bit of offense here. Rhodes gets cut off twice for making a tag. Rhodes gets a tag to Camarado, and Camarado got one of the guys in a one-handed press slam while he DDT'd the other. Cool looking move, but not very realistic. Hughes brothers and drops them both at the same time. Rhodes and Marshall hit bulldogs and diamond cutters on the Hughes twins, and Camarado finishes off a press slam into a vertical power slam for a pinfall. Camarado will be something at some point. And then we go to Rey Fenix against KC Navarro. 5.75 minutes. Phoenix does a bunch of bouncing around. He's in the main event 6-man tomorrow at Beach Brawl or Beach Break, and Phoenix offers to shake hands early. Navarro rejects it. Phoenix chops him instead. Navarro does very little with offense. Phoenix dominates, catches him, and kicks him off, finishing him with a frog splash for a pin. Phoenix shakes his hand after the match as a show of respect. Not necessarily sure why he's shaking hands. Also not sure why AEW insists on pushing a luchador who doesn't do well with English. I don't see how that's marketable in the end. I'm all for pushing lucha, but have them be able to speak for themselves well in order to get something out of the push. Tay Conti with Anna Jay in -1 defeats Tesha Price in just under 3.75 minutes. Conti does well again. She's improving. She's not my cup of tea as far as a wrestler is concerned. She goes back and forth, catches a series of judo throws and a running knee in the corner, follows by a pump kick and the take KO, and hits the finish. She is improving rapidly, proving to me that Cody Rhodes and those associated with his wrestling school have a better system than WWE NXT has had in forever. So that's useful. Waiting room with Dr. Britt Baker featuring Ricky Starks. She brings Starks out. Baker runs down the card for tomorrow night's AEW Dynamite. She says there's some tension between the two of them in terms of attraction. Tony Schiavone basically does some right jokes here, and he says Keith Mitchell has given him the signal that they're out of time, and the segment, nothing really comes from the segment. Thunder Rosa against Danny Jordan in just under 4.5 minutes. Rosa faces Baker tomorrow night, and I hate when they have people going back-to-back nights. It just doesn't, to me, if you have that much talent, then each show should have its own roster. And Rosa, Jordan looks good as she always does. I like the burn book gimmick. They're not doing enough with it. Rosa nails a DDT and gets a near fall. Rosa comes back with a Michinoku driver for the finish, and she looks good going into being on national TV tomorrow. Del Sol and Very Morales in 2.5 minutes get squashed by Santana Ortiz. Basically, Santana Ortiz are no longer in the top 5 tag teams, replaced by MJF and Jericho. Santana and Ortiz had hit several double team maneuvers, including neckbreaker, on Del Sol for the pin, and Morales never even makes it into the match. And then Jericho and MJF bumped them from the top 5. I assume this will eventually lead to a turn somewhere down the road. Leia Hirsch defeats Helena Perez in just over 1 3/4 minutes. Hirsch dominates early. Takedown series and a knee to the face. Perez mounts a comeback, and Hirsch catches her with a cross arm breaker, and Perez taps out. Acclaimed defeat Ryzen and Limelight in just under 5 minutes. Caster raps before the match. He runs down all the tag teams. They acknowledge liking MJF. And Caster and Bowens jump the baby faces early. Limelight hits a beautiful dive on Caster out of the ring. Ryzen gets dropped with almost like a stun gun type maneuver. Comes back with a backdrop. Makes a tag to Limelight. Limelight looks pretty good. Ryzen makes the blind tag, and this confuses Limelight. Ryzen gets caught with a ripcord chop and a short on clothesline. Caster and Bowens hit the Acclaim to Fame, modified rock bottom, and then a top rope elbow from Caster. Personally, I like Limelight did with the NWA deal, and the fact that they are wasting him here is not something I'm a fan of. Bear Country, Sonny Kiss, and Joey Janella. Why? These 4 and 8 and 6-man tag team, well, not 4-man because that's 2 teams, but 6-man, 8-man, 10-man tag team matches. Just stop. It's a waste of talent, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy. And not to mention, Joey Janela, at this point, it's 2021. Like, literally, cut his contract, give his money to a food bank, and do something good for the planet. Like, I don't see anything redeeming in Janela. Kiss, I see it. Sean Dean, great. Baron Black, I don't get it. Aaron Solo, I assume he's employed because he's dating Bayley and she's on the other show and they don't want him to go to WWE. Mike Vera, I don't see that either, but still, Janela is the single most hyped and bloated person on the national scene. Dean looks really good against Kiss and gets a sit-out spine buster. It's a roundhouse kick from Kiss. Tags in his regular partner. Janela hits a tornado DDT. Super kicks Vera, and he's lured by a couple other opponents into the ring. Janela comes off the top of the cross body onto a pile. So he comes in just to do random high spots and look like a bloated backyarder. Beer Country gets into action, hitting the finish as Bronson gets on Boulder's shoulders, does the electric chair, and he's dropped into position into a splash on Vera. Janella follows up with a top rope elbow for the pin. So they give him the pin in all this? Anyway, it's horrible. Anyhow, Ivelisse and Diamante defeat Velt Vixen and Jasmine Allure in 5:23. Velt Vixen misses pump kick. She gets caught in the wrong corner, and Ivelisse gets a near fall vertical suplex with a bridge. Ivelisse wears Velt Vixen down with a surfboard and just barely looks like she might get out of it. She kicks her in the back of the knee and transitions into a straight jacket. Allure comes in, gets a hot tag, scores a near fall on Diamante off a neck breaker, and does the step up enziguri. Gets a near fall. Diamante comes back to knock Vixen out of the ring, and then Ivelisse hits Allure with a stereo, a series of knees, and stereo kicks. Scores the pin. Ivelisse and Diamante continue to look like a okay tag team. Then we go to Colton and Billy Gunn defeating John Schuyler and Ray Jazz. 6:23. Not sure why this needs to go this long. Like, I get Billy Gunn wanting to put his kids over, but I don't think he needs to be there as often as he is. Austin Gunn joins Taz and Excalibur on commentary. Billy, is in his 50s. I think the rub that he's given to being part of the team has long passed. Colton does hit some good drop kicks. The older Gunn tags in Schuyler and Billy work on the floor. Schuyler gets the edge, sends Billy into the post. Schuyler gets the near fall, slingshot spear. Schuyler and Jazz work over Billy in the corner until he hits a DDT on Jazz. Colton tags in and hits the 310 on Schuyler for the win. Schuyler's being wasted. If you've never seen his work in PWX, you're missing out. It's actually kind of sad. Red Velvet against Alex Garcia. 4:18. Velvet gets a win. A bunch of arm drags for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Garcia rolls through and hits a seated drop kick. Garcia makes fun of Velvet's cake. Stirring taunt. Comes back with a spin kick, a bulldog, and standing moonsault for near fall. Velvet finished things off with a running boot. The fact that she's going to be involved in the Shaq thing just makes me cringe. But I guess there's a personal relationship there or something. But, I mean, I would take Thunder Rosa. I would take Leva Bates and build her up. I would take Leah Hirsch. There's like at least 5 women I could think of if I thought long enough that should be beside Cody and not Red Velvet. Anyway, Preston Vance defeating Jake St. Patrick. -1's back on commentary. He asks Excalibur for the $5 from last week. He enjoys himself on commentary. Vance takes down St. Patrick, and this is there. There's some clotheslines, spine buster, and a deadlift powerbomb. Finish off St. Patrick. And -1 chases Excalibur away from the commentary desk at the end of the match. As much as I don't like Excalibur as a talent, I admire him for putting Kid over. That's really cool, and I respect that. That being said, this kid has more talent than any of the announcers in WWE in terms of enthusiasm, which as an 8 or 9 year old is just plain sad. Anyway, outside of Samoa Joe and somebody like a Jerry Lawler. But the straight announcers that have never wrestled before, yeah, this kid's better than them. FCU, Chris Daniels and Frankie Kazarian in the main event with Chaos Project. Why are they here every week? Just under 9 minutes. Gojo's back with Excalibur and Taz. Why? Kazarian and Serpentico start. It's fine. Tags are made on both sides. Luther and Daniel sparring off looks clunky and disorganized. Kazarian gets crotched on the ring post. Luther and Serpentico continue things. Luther uses Serpentico as a weapon, as he always does. Serpentico goes after Kazarian for the near fall. Luther and Serpentico get near falls. Kazarian comes back with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Daniels hits an exploder on Serpentico, and the Angel's wings on Luther for a near fall of his own. Luther runs in, breaks up a pin attempt. Daniels and Kazarian finish off Serpentico with Celebrity Rehab, and I don't know. It's fine. I love Daniels and Kazarian. I do not love the fact they're on dark and being wasted. I mean, if you have a guy that's nearly 50, or over 50, you put him on television because he's running out of time. You don't waste him in a throwaway storyline. Anyway, that's AEW Dark. We will be bringing you more in the Mid-South series, which is, 150 plus episodes, and so much more. Anyway, till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.